the Southern snack where life is too short to be serious. All right, folks, we're back at Crumbl trying 3 new LTO desserts, test items in Northern Virginia. Got the chocolate cake at Ashburn, got the key lime pie. I'm blanking out. One was at Reston and one was at Vienna. I think pumpkin was at Vienna, key lime was at Reston. You also got Leesburg, I think, has key lime, and Fairs Lake probably has pumpkin pie. If I didn't tell you correctly, you can just look up the location in the app and it'll tell you. But exciting stuff, right? I love chocolate cake. Chocolate cake is my favorite cookie from Crumbl. So you know me, you know this is probably going to be my favorite dessert from Crumbl. I'm a chocolate lover. There's no question. Key lime pie, we've had that before as a cookie, as a pie. They've changed the crust or the form of it. So we'll see how that is. It's a great cookie, or it's a great dessert. Only issue is that lime, if you leave a lemon, lime, whatever, if you leave that on top of the dessert and let it sit, it's gonna get salty. Just warning you, just for future reference. And then pumpkin pie, we've had the cookie, but now they offer it as a pie. Now, some Crumbl locations will give you a fork with these desserts. Most will not. Just giving you a heads up of what I have figured out. So, with that said, we're gonna go ahead, try and pose for this thumbnail. These are hard to handle desserts, so I think what we'll do is we'll hold the chocolate cake and the pumpkin pie in one hand, and then we'll hold the key lime in the other. The key lime's not necessarily new, so not the biggest deal. But look at that, that's your thumbnail. It may look like a thumbnail, but it's a thumbnail. Oh, whoa. We almost had a terrible moment there. Luckily we did not. And luckily, I asked them a question. So the kiosk said they had the celebration cake, the big $29 cake. I asked them, I said, hey, do y'all have this? And they said, no, we don't. I got so lucky not blowing money on that. I would have been so mad, but you gotta ask questions sometimes. I just put this in the box for whatever reason to eat out. But there's a look. I mean, it's got chocolate ganache, 2 layers of chocolate icing, you know, chocolate sheet cake, all the good stuff. So let's go ahead, give it a try. I don't know when this will be out, but I'm super excited about this one. If it'll cooperate, it's a mess, but it's gonna be delicious. Moist, fudgy, super chocolatey. It is the chocolate cream cheese icing, which I have no problem with. Chocolate is so strong that it fights off that cream cheese flavor. Yeah, it's decadent. And just like with the cookie is perfect the way it is. And it's like a gooey version of like a cake. But this is actual cake, right? This is the actual stuff. And there's no question. It's a 10 out of 10. Any day, easy. Now, real quick, I just want to make sure y'all know it's important for you guys to vote on hometown picks when you have the availability to do that. It feels like Crumbl is probably pushing locations to participate, even though it's optional. And companies and the franchisees and the owners, they're pushing back by making all their employees vote for basic cookies. So, a way to do this is fight back. You guys fight back. You guys choose cookies you want. Get those cookies up there. Make sure they ain't just throwing out a confetti cookie. I'm all for people not participating. I'm all for locations skipping out. But if you're gonna have to participate, if you're gonna participate, don't treat us like this, guys. Don't be petty, right? Okay. So pumpkin pie. I know you can't see much, so we're gonna try and dive into this a little bit better. Well, look at that. I can actually, before I can show you what the pie looks like. So this is what we're gonna get with key lime. It's a full round edge. I don't know what the key lime pie crust looks like. We'll figure it out in a minute, but that is what that looks like. It's hard to get into. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little hard to get into. But a good amount of crust, so. Now my concern with this one was that it might not be as good as the cookie. That's because the persons I saw looked like it had way too much pumpkin, not enough spice in it. And while I do think this could use some more spice to it, it's not too pumpkin-y, right? Mine definitely looks more on point in terms of color. It's very delicious, very smooth, very silky. But it's not quite hitting. As good as the pie, like the cookie. Sorry, it's not hitting as good as the cookie. And it feels like you're just not getting much out of it, right? It feels like there's a lot of crust, not a lot of dessert, which I thought these were pretty big when I got them, but like I just took a couple bites. And we're like almost through with it. So I don't know really what I have to say other than I would give it an 8.5. It does constitute that, but you know. All right, key lime pie. Again, let's, if we can try. Oh, well, that's not, okay, that's not the same. It's not got a wraparound crust, which I thought it was supposed to, but it doesn't look like it's got a wraparound crust. It does have graham crust. So, at least with this one, you get more dessert than the Crumbl one. I mean, the pumpkin one. But let's see if this one is as good as the ones we've had in the past from Crumbl. So if we got a firm crust, I think that's one of the things people were complaining about, is the crust wasn't firm enough. I definitely think this is plenty firm. Why is there a frog? I heard a frog. Anyways, let's try this out. Very fluffy cream on top too. Very key lime forward. The texture seems a little weird compared to how I've experienced this in the past. I can see, like, I can definitely taste like the levels of salt in there, but they're not a problem right now, right? They're not going to be a problem until that lime starts to try and soak up some of that lime flavor. I'm thinking that's what happens. The lime soaks up that flavor, and so I can see where the salt comes from, and there's definitely some salt levels in there. But it's amazing. It's tart. It's sweet, and it's not like the crust is not too crumbly. It's firm. It has a good grip, and it's hard not to give this a 10, right? The texture is a little weird, but I'd still give it a 10. Right, it's very solid. So overall, impressive, right? These desserts are impressive. Am I for LTOs? No, not really. I love their cookies, and I hate that we're not seeing new innovation for cookies. But it's also nice seeing them kind of improve, which I can't flex, but improve that they can do this, that they can do desserts. So I just don't want them pushing employees too hard. I don't want them doing 2 LTOs per store. And I don't know how that's going to look on these test locations, right? If they got to do 2 LTOs, minis, and then a test kitchen thing, I hope that if you're going to force them to do LTOs, at least you're going to start back to testing cookies again. Again, I don't know. But that is the review. And I hope you enjoyed it, because I will see you around. Bye-bye.